The Rogues Guild. Written by King Edward. Copyright April 13, 2024. Chapter 1. The Dagger's Discovery. Sharptooth moved swiftly through the bustling streets of Bellsouth, his keen eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of trouble. He had grown accustomed to the harsh realities of life on the streets, having been abandoned at a tender age. But hardship had molded him into something resilient, something sharp and agile, earning him the moniker, Sharptooth. As he slipped into the mage's hall, Sharptooth felt the weight of the dagger hidden within his cloak. It was a relic of a bygone era, discovered amidst the crumbling ruins of a forgotten mage's hideout. The map that led him there had been a parting gift from a dying mage, 5 long years ago. The mage on duty eyed him suspiciously. "What business do you have here, rogue?" he demanded, his voice tinged with suspicion. Sharptooth flashed a disarming smile, his quick wit at the ready. "Just exploring, my friend. I've never been to this town before, thought I'd see what secrets it holds." With a nod of understanding, Sharptooth slipped away from the mage's hall, his heart pounding with the thrill of his clandestine discovery. He made his way to the tavern, where his companions awaited. The tavern was a riot of noise and activity, filled with a motley assortment of patrons. Doors with attitudes, beautiful women, barbaric men, the tavern boasted them all. Making his way to the far back booth, Sharptooth joined his companions. Falcon, the elven ranger, nodded in greeting, his sharp eyes taking in Sharptooth's arrival. Brizmouth, the towering two-handed wielding knight, inclined his head in acknowledgement. And there, nestled among them, was Leafshade, the wood elf druid, his gaze fixed on the ancient lore that surrounded him. "How goes the day, Sharptooth?" Falcon inquired, his tone laced with curiosity. Sharptooth grinned, producing the ancient mage's dagger from beneath his cloak. "Better than expected," he replied cryptically. As he glanced around the tavern, Sharptooth noticed several suspicious characters lurking in the shadows. Before he could voice his concerns, chaos erupted. The city guards stormed into the tavern, their presence sending shockwaves through the crowd. In the ensuing commotion, a brawl erupted, fists flying and chairs splintering. Amidst the chaos, Sharptooth caught the bartender's quip, a wry remark that brought a momentary reprieve to the tension. And just like that, the tavern returned to its usual merry atmosphere, leaving Sharptooth and his companions to ponder the mysteries that lay ahead. The aftermath of the brawl left the tavern in disarray, but Sharptooth and his companions remained undeterred. As they huddled together in their booth, their minds raced with questions and suspicions. "What do you make of those characters we spotted?" Sharptooth asked, his gaze flickering towards the shadowy corners of the tavern. Falcon, ever vigilant, nodded thoughtfully. "They seemed out of place, like wolves among sheep," he mused, his fingers tracing the intricate patterns of his bow. Brizmouth grunted in agreement, his imposing figure casting a protective shadow over the table. And did you notice the symbol on their cloaks? It bore the mark of the Blackened Claw, a notorious band of rogues and mercenaries." Leafshade, the quietest of the group, spoke up, his voice carrying the weight of ancient wisdom. "We must tread carefully, for dark forces are at play in these troubled times." Sharptooth's grip tightened around the hilt of the mage's dagger, his mind racing with possibilities. But what do they want? And why here, in Bellsouth? Before they could delve deeper into their speculations, a cloaked figure approached their table, his features obscured by shadow. "You seek answers, do you not?" the stranger murmured, their voices laced with intrigue. Sharptooth tensed, his instincts on high alert. "Who are you three? And what do you know of our quest?" The strangers chuckled softly, their eyes gleaming with hidden knowledge. "All will become clear in due time, young rogue. But beware the shadows, for they conceal both friend and foe alike." With a cryptic smile, the strangers melted back into the crowd, leaving Sharptooth and his companions to ponder their words. As the night wore on, they remained vigilant, their senses sharpened by the looming threat that lurked in the darkness. For in the city of Bellsouth, where secrets lay buried and alliances were forged in shadows, the true test of their mettle had only just begun. The following morning found Sharptooth and his companions gathered around a weathered table in their modest lodgings, the flickering candlelight casting eerie shadows across their faces. Leafshade unfurled a tattered map, its edges frayed with age, and laid it out before them. "This map," Leafshade began, his voice low and solemn, holds the key to unlocking the mysteries of our quest. Sharptooth leaned in closer, his eyes narrowing as he studied the faded parchment. The map depicted intricate paths and hidden passages, leading to a destination shrouded in secrecy. But where does it lead? Falcon wondered aloud, his brow furrowed in concentration. Brizmouth reached out, tracing the winding trails with a calloused finger. It appears to lead to the outskirts of Belsouth, to a place known as the Forgotten Vale, he observed, his voice tinged with anticipation. The Forgotten Vale, a name steeped in legend and whispered tales of untold treasures and ancient relics. Sharptooth felt a surge of excitement coursing through his veins. We must venture forth and uncover the truth that lies hidden within the veil, Sharptooth declared, his voice ringing with determination. With a shared sense of purpose, they gathered their belongings and set out into the dawn, their footsteps echoing against the cobblestone streets of Belsouth. As they made their way towards the outskirts of the city, the air grew thick with anticipation, each step bringing them closer to their destiny. But their journey would not be without its challenges, for dark forces lurked in the shadows, eager to thwart their quest at every turn. And as they ventured deeper into the heart of the Forgotten Land, they would come face to face with secrets long buried and powers beyond their wildest imaginings. But Sharptooth and his companions were undaunted, for they knew that true bravery lay not in the absence of fear, but in the courage to face it head-on. And so, with hearts ablaze with determination and eyes fixed on the horizon. Chapter 2. Shadows of the Forgotten Vale. As Sharptooth and his companions ventured deeper into the Forgotten Vale, a palpable sense of unease settled over them like a heavy cloak. The air grew thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the rustle of leaves and the distant cry of unseen creatures. "We are being watched," Falcon whispered, his elven senses attuned to the slightest of movements. Brizmouth gripped his two-handed blade tighter, his muscles tensed for the looming threat. "Stay alert, friends. Danger lurks in every shadow." Leafshade, ever attuned to the rhythms of nature, paused to examine the foliage around them. "There is a darkness here, a corruption that taints the very earth," he murmured, his voice laden with concern. Sharptooth nodded grimly, his hand instinctively reaching for the hilt of the mage's dagger. "Whatever lies ahead, we must proceed with caution." As they pressed onward, the landscape grew increasingly treacherous, with jagged cliffs and winding ravines barring their path. But they pressed on, their determination unwavering in the face of adversity. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the vale, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Before they could react, a horde of shadowy figures emerged from the darkness, their eyes gleaming with malevolence. The Blackened Claw, a band of rogues and mercenaries, drawn to the lure of forgotten treasures and ancient relics. Sharptooth and his companions braced themselves for battle, their weapons at the ready. With a battle cry that echoed through the vale, they clashed with their foes, the clash of steel and the crackle of magic filling the air. Sharptooth moved with lightning speed, his agile movements cutting through the enemy ranks like a whirlwind of steel. Falcon's arrows found their mark with unerring precision, while Brizmouth's mighty blows cleaved through the enemy lines with devastating force. Leafshade, ever the guardian of nature, called upon the elements to aid their cause, vines snaking out to entangle their foes. But the Blackened Claw fought with a ferocity born of desperation, their numbers seemingly endless. As the battle raged on, Sharptooth and his companions found themselves pushed to their limits, their strength waning with each passing moment. Just when all seemed lost, a blinding flash of light illuminated the vale, casting the shadows into stark relief. From the darkness emerged three figures cloaked in shimmering robes, their presence radiating with an otherworldly power. "Stand firm, brave warriors," the figure intoned, their voice echoing with authority. "For the true test of your mettle has only just begun." With a wave of their hand, the figures unleashed a wave of energy that engulfed the battlefield, scattering the Blackened Claw like leaves in the wind. As the dust settled, Sharptooth and his companions found themselves face to face with their mysterious saviors. Who were these enigmatic figures, and what role did they play in the unfolding saga of their epic quest? Only time would reveal the answers, as Sharptooth and his companions prepared to journey deeper into the heart of darkness that awaited them in the Forgotten Vale. The mysterious figures who had intervened in the battle stepped forward, their robes billowing in the wind like ethereal tendrils. Their eyes, pools of shimmering light, held the wisdom of ages untold. We are known as the Guardian of Secrets, the figure declared, their voice carrying the weight of ancient knowledge. And it is us who watch over the forgotten truths that lie hidden within this veil. Sharptooth and his companions regarded the Guardians with a mixture of awe and reverence, their curiosity piqued by the enigmatic presence before them. "What secrets do you three guard, Guardians?" Leafshade inquired, his voice reverent as he bowed in respect. The Guardians' gaze seemed to pierce through the veil of time itself, their eyes alight with the wisdom of the ages. "The secrets of the past, the truths that have been lost to the annals of history," they replied cryptically. "But such knowledge comes at a price." Sharptooth's heart quickened with anticipation, his mind racing with the possibilities of what hidden truths lay buried within the veil. "What price must we pay?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The Guardian's lips curved into a knowing smile, as if they had anticipated the question. "You must prove yourselves worthy, brave adventurers," they replied, their voice echoing with solemnity. "Only those who possess the courage to face their darkest fears and the strength to overcome them shall be granted access to the secrets that lie within." With a wave of their hand, the Guardians gestured towards a towering structure that loomed in the distance, a crumbling fortress, its walls adorned with ancient runes and symbols. "The Fortress of Shadows," the Guardians intoned, their voice tinged with reverence. "Within its walls lie the answers you seek, but beware, for the fortress is guarded by forces beyond your imagining." Sharptooth and his companions exchanged a silent glance, their resolve steeled by the magnitude of the task that lay ahead. With a nod of gratitude to the Guardians, they set forth towards the fortress, their footsteps echoing against the rocky terrain. As they approached the looming structure, a sense of foreboding washed over them like a shroud, each step bringing them closer to the heart of darkness that awaited them within. But they were undaunted, for they knew that they had the courage to face it head-on. And so, with hearts ablaze with determination and eyes fixed on the horizon, they ventured forth into the depths of the Fortress of Shadows. The air within the Fortress of Shadows was heavy with the weight of centuries, its corridors shrouded in darkness and mystery. Sharptooth and his companions moved cautiously through the ancient halls, their senses alert for any sign of danger. As they delved deeper into the fortress, they encountered a series of trials designed to test their resolve and worthiness. Each chamber presented its own unique challenges, from cunning traps to malevolent guardians that lurked in the shadows. In the first chamber, they faced a labyrinth of twisting passages and shifting walls, each step fraught with peril. With Falcon's keen eyes guiding them, they navigated the maze with precision, their determination unwavering in the face of adversity. In the second chamber, they confronted a series of riddles and puzzles, each more perplexing than the last. Brizmouth's strength and Leafshade's wisdom proved invaluable as they unraveled the mysteries that lay before them, their minds working in tandem to overcome the obstacles in their path. Finally, they reached the heart of the fortress, where a towering pedestal stood bathed in an ethereal light. Upon it rested a tome, bound in ancient leather and adorned with arcane symbols. "The Book of Forgotten Truths," Leafshade murmured, his voice filled with reverence. "This is what we have been seeking." But before they could claim the tome as their own, they were confronted by a final trial, a spectral guardian, its form shifting and insubstantial. "You shall not pass," the guardian intoned, its voice echoing through the chamber like a chill wind. "Only those who prove themselves worthy may lay claim to the secrets contained within." With a shared glance, Sharptooth and his companions steeled themselves for the ultimate test of their mettle. They squared off against the spectral guardian, their weapons at the ready and their resolve unshakable. The guardian surged forward, its translucent form rippling with otherworldly energy. Sharptooth darted forward, his dagger flashing in the dim light as he feinted and dodged, seeking an opening in the guardian's defenses. Falcon's arrows flew true, each shaft finding its mark with unerring precision as he danced nimbly around the guardian's attacks. Brizmouth charged headlong into the fray, his two-handed blade cleaving through the spectral form with devastating force. But the Guardian was a formidable opponent, its attacks swift and unpredictable. Leafshade called upon the power of nature, weaving a web of vines and thorns to ensnare their foe, but the Guardian simply phased through the obstacles with unearthly grace. As the battle raged on, Sharptooth and his companions fought with all their might, their movements a blur of steel and magic. Each blow struck with ferocious intensity, each spell cast with unwavering focus. And then, in a moment of clarity, Sharptooth saw his opportunity. With a lightning-fast strike, he plunged his dagger deep into the heart of the guardian, channeling all of his strength and skill into the blow. With a shuddering cry, the guardian dissipated into a swirling mist, its form fading into nothingness. The chamber fell silent, save for the heavy breathing of Sharptooth and his companions as they stood victorious amidst the wreckage of their battle. As they approached the pedestal and claimed the Book of Forgotten Truths, a sense of triumph washed over them, their hearts filled with pride and their minds brimming with newfound knowledge. For they had proven themselves worthy, and in doing so, they had unlocked the secrets of the past and paved the way for a future filled with endless possibilities. With the Book of Forgotten Truths in their possession, Sharptooth and his companions knew that their epic quest had only just begun. With the Book of Forgotten Truths safely in their possession, Sharptooth and his companions emerged from the depths of the Fortress of Shadows, their hearts buoyed by the weight of their victory and the promise of knowledge that lay within its pages. As they stepped out into the fading light of dusk, the air was filled with a sense of anticipation, each member of the party eager to uncover the secrets that awaited them. Gathering around a crackling campfire, they pored over the ancient tome, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and faded text. Leafshade traced his fingers over the intricate script, his eyes alight with curiosity. "These are the lost teachings of the ancient mages," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "Secrets that have been hidden from the world for eons." Sharptooth nodded in agreement, his mind racing with the possibilities of what they might uncover. But what do they reveal? What truths lie buried within these pages? Falcon's keen eyes scanned the text, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It speaks of a time long forgotten, when magic flowed like rivers and the world was a tapestry of wonders," he observed, his voice filled with wonder. Brizmouth leaned in closer, his interest piqued by the revelations contained within the tome. "And what of the rogue mage whose dagger led us to this quest? What role did they play in this ancient tale?" Leafshade turned the pages with reverence, his gaze fixed on the faded illustrations that adorned the margins. "It is said that the rogue mage sought to defy the laws of nature and harness the power of the elements for their own gain," he explained, his voice tinged with solemnity. As they delved deeper into the secrets of the ancient tome, Sharptooth and his companions uncovered a wealth of knowledge that had long been lost to the annals of history. From forgotten spells to hidden artifacts, each revelation brought them one step closer to unlocking the mysteries of the past. But their quest was far from over, for the shadows of the past still loomed large, and the forces that sought to keep the secrets buried were ever vigilant. With the Book of Forgotten Truths as their guide, Sharptooth and his companions embarked on a journey that would take them to the farthest reaches of the realm, where ancient relics and forgotten lore awaited their discovery. Chapter 3. Shadows of Thindral. The town of Thindral sprawled along the sun-kissed shores of the southern coast, its streets bustling with activity as merchants haggled over their wares and sailors spun tales of far-off lands. For Sharptooth and his companions, it was a welcome respite from their long journey, but little did they know that their arrival would herald the beginning of a new and perilous adventure. As they made their way through the winding streets of the town, the salty tang of the sea mingled with the scent of exotic spices and freshly caught fish. The sound of laughter and music drifted through the air, drawing them towards the heart of the bustling port. Their destination, the Wayward Inn, stood nestled amidst a cluster of ramshackle buildings, its weathered sign creaking in the gentle breeze. As they stepped through the door, the warmth of the hearth enveloped them, casting long shadows across the worn wooden floors. The innkeeper greeted them with a weary smile, his eyes flickering with recognition as he took in their ragged appearance. "Welcome to the Wayward Inn, travelers," he said, his voice tinged with a hint of caution. "What brings you to our humble establishment?" Sharptooth exchanged a glance with his companions, their eyes alight with anticipation. "We seek shelter for the night and perhaps a hot meal," he replied, his voice steady despite the turmoil brewing within. As they settled into their room, exhaustion weighed heavily upon them, but sleep would not come easy. The weight of their recent discoveries, the ancient tome, the secrets of the past hung heavy on their minds, casting a shadow over their rest. And then, in the dead of night, disaster struck. A group of shadowy figures, their faces obscured by the darkness, broke into Sharptooth's room, their movements swift and silent. Before he could react, they seized the ancient book and vanished into the night, leaving only chaos in their wake. With a sense of dread gnawing at their hearts, Sharptooth and his companions knew that their quest had taken a dangerous turn. The ancient tome was their only hope of uncovering the truth behind the mysteries that plagued their world, and without it, they were lost. But fate had other plans in store for them, for as they set out to track down the thieves who had stolen the ancient book, they encountered a figure unlike any they had seen before. She stood amidst the bustling streets of Thindral, her presence commanding attention despite the chaos that surrounded her. Clad in armor adorned with intricate patterns and symbols, she exuded an aura of strength and determination. Her features were striking, piercing eyes the color of stormy seas, framed by waves of golden hair that cascaded down her back in unruly waves. Her face was a study in contrasts, with delicate features softened by the hint of a steely resolve. But it was her smile that captured their attention, a smile that spoke of kindness and compassion, of a spirit unbroken by the trials of the world. And as she approached them, her gaze meeting theirs with a quiet intensity, Sharptooth and his companions knew that their paths were destined to intertwine. For she was no ordinary woman, but a cleric, a healer and protector of the innocent, wielding both shield and mace with equal skill. And as she offered her aid in their quest to retrieve the ancient book, Windwing, the cleric of the Cathedral of Light, stood before Sharptooth and his companions, her presence a calming influence amidst the chaos of Thindral's streets. The soft glow of lanterns cast a halo around her, illuminating the determination in her eyes as she offered her assistance. "Greetings, travelers," Windwing said, her voice carrying a soothing melody that seemed to calm the restless spirits around them. "I am Windwing, cleric of the Cathedral of Light. I could not help but notice the distress in your eyes. How may I be of service?" Sharptooth and his companions exchanged glances, a flicker of hope igniting within them at the sight of this unexpected ally. "We have been robbed," Sharptooth explained, his voice tinged with frustration. "A group of shadowy figures broke into our room and stole an ancient tome of great importance. We seek to retrieve it and unravel the mysteries it holds." Windwing nodded sympathetically, her gaze filled with understanding. "The shadows in Thindral run deep, but fear not, for the light shall guide us in our quest," she said, her voice imbued with unwavering resolve. "I shall join you in your endeavor, for it is clear that fate has brought us together for a reason." With Windwing at their side, Sharptooth and his companions felt a renewed sense of purpose, their spirits lifted by her unwavering faith and steadfast determination. Together, they set out into the bustling streets of Thindral, their hearts ablaze with the promise of adventure and the hope of reclaiming what was rightfully theirs. But as they ventured deeper into the heart of the town, they soon realized that their task would not be easy. The shadows seemed to thicken around them, whispers of treachery and deceit echoing through the narrow alleyways. Undeterred, they pressed onward, their senses sharp and their weapons at the ready. With Windwing leading the way, they navigated the labyrinthine streets of Thindral with ease, her presence a beacon of light in the darkness that surrounded them. As they neared their destination, a hidden den rumored to be frequented by members of the Rogues Guild, Windwing paused, her hand resting gently on Sharptooth's arm. "We must proceed with caution," she warned, her voice low but resolute. "The shadows may conceal dangers beyond our imagining, but together, we shall overcome them." With a shared nod of agreement, Sharptooth and his companions steeled themselves for the challenges ahead. With Windwing by their side, they knew that no shadow could withstand the light of their resolve. As Sharptooth and his companions ventured deeper into the labyrinthine streets of Thindral, guided by the radiant presence of Windwing, they found themselves drawn towards a shadowy corner of the bustling town. Here, amidst the dimly lit alleys and the hushed whispers of hidden dealings, they came upon a mysterious figure cloaked in shadow. The cloaked figure turned towards them, his eyes gleaming beneath the hood. "Greetings, travelers," he spoke in a soft voice that carried an air of intrigue. "I have been sent to deliver a message to Sharptooth." Sharptooth stepped forward, his gaze fixed on the enigmatic messenger. "What message do you bring?" he inquired, his curiosity piqued. The cloaked figure leaned closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "The Rogues Guild of Thindral beckons you," he revealed, his words laden with hidden meaning. "You are to join their ranks and embark on an epic quest to save the missing princess of Thindral." Sharptooth's companions exchanged wary glances, their expressions a mixture of concern and determination. Windwing stepped forward, her presence a reassuring anchor amidst the uncertainty. "What of us?" she inquired, her voice calm but resolute. The cloaked figure regarded them with a solemn nod. "You are to accompany Sharptooth on his journey to Thindral," he replied, But he must face this trial alone. With a shared nod of understanding, Sharptooth's companions resolved to stand by his side, their loyalty unwavering even in the face of daunting challenges ahead. As they set forth towards Thindral, the coastal winds carried whispers of impending danger. Along the winding path, they encountered a strange figure looming in the distance. As they drew closer, the figure grew larger until they were face to face with a skeletal horde blocking the old trail to Thindral. The air crackled with tension as arrows flew through the air, the keen aim of Falcon, the elven archer, striking true. But the skeletal horde retaliated with deadly accuracy, a poisoned arrow finding its mark and felling Falcon to the ground. With urgency in his movements, Leafshade, the druid and lore keeper, rushed to Falcon's side, his hands glowing with the healing touch of nature. The poison's grip weakened under Leafshade's skilled ministrations, and Falcon's eyes fluttered open, gratitude shining in his gaze. Meanwhile, Windwing and Sharptooth battled side by side, their resolve unyielding in the face of the relentless skeletal horde. Windwing's mace shattered bones with resounding force, while Sharptooth's agile movements and quick strikes proved decisive in the fray. The battle raged on, each member of the party unleashing their unique skills in a coordinated dance of combat and magic. With every blow, the skeletal horde weakened until, at last, the last remnants crumbled into dust beneath their feet. Breathing heavily but victorious, Sharptooth and his companions pressed onward, the gates of Thindral looming ahead like a beacon of hope amidst the fading light. Approaching the gates of Thindral, anticipation mingled with apprehension in their hearts. As Sharptooth and his companions approached the gates of Thindral, the first light of dawn painted the horizon in hues of pink and gold, casting a magical glow over the sprawling castle and its surrounding courtyard. The towering walls of Thindral Castle rose majestically, adorned with ancient banners that fluttered gently in the morning breeze. Before them lay a picturesque courtyard, bustling with activity and brimming with the spirit of camaraderie. A jousting field dominated one corner of the courtyard, its freshly mowed grass awaiting the clang of armored knights and the thunder of hoofs. Nearby, a battle pit stood ready for martial contests, where knights of Thindral honed their skills under the watchful eyes of their peers. A tranquil water pond encircled the castle, its surface reflecting the early light of day like a mirror. A stone bridge led across the moat, offering a grand entrance into the heart of the castle. Below, the townspeople went about their morning routines, their smiles and cheerful greetings filling the air with a sense of community and optimism. To the right of the castle gate stood a welcoming inn, its wooden facade adorned with colorful banners and inviting lanterns. On the left, an armor shop beckoned with gleaming displays of polished armor and shields, a testament to the craftsmanship of Thindral's artisans. Adjacent to the armor shop, the rhythmic clang of hammer on anvil echoed from the blacksmith's area, where weapons hung in orderly rows, each blade a testament to the town's dedication to craftsmanship and martial prowess. Directly ahead, a bustling food court bustled with activity, its stalls adorned with mouthwatering displays of freshly baked bread, savory pies, and aromatic spices. Beyond this lively hub lay the grand entrance to Thindral Castle, its massive doors adorned with intricate carvings and guarded by vigilant sentinels. With purposeful strides, Sharptooth and his companions made their way towards the tavern nestled within this vibrant scene. Inside the tavern, the air was alive with animated conversation and the clink of tankards. They sought information about the Rogues Guild in town, their minds focused on the task ahead amidst the lively backdrop of Thindral's welcoming courtyard and the promise of new allies in their quest to save the missing princess. Entering the tavern, Sharptooth and his companions were greeted by the cozy warmth of the hearth and the lively chatter of patrons. The scent of hearty stew and ale filled the air, mingling with the hum of conversation and laughter that echoed off the wooden beams. They found a table in a secluded corner, the flickering candlelight casting dancing shadows across their faces. Windwing's eyes sparkled with curiosity as she glanced around the bustling tavern, her expression a mix of anticipation and determination. Brizmouth, ever observant, caught the eye of a barmaid bustling about with trays of food and drink. "Excuse me, miss," he called out politely, "might we trouble you for a moment?" The barmaid approached with a friendly smile, her eyes curious but kind. "Of course, travelers," she replied, setting down her tray. "What can I do for you today?" Sharptooth leaned forward, his voice low but earnest. "We're new to Thindral and seeking information about the Rogues Guild," he explained, careful not to draw undue attention. The barmaid's expression softened, a glint of recognition in her eyes. "Ah, the Rogues Guild," she replied, her voice lowered conspiratorially. "You'll want to speak with old Vixen. She runs a discreet establishment just down the lane." Windwing nodded appreciatively. "Thank you," she said with a warm smile. As the barmaid bustled off to attend to other patrons, Falcon leaned in closer, his eyes alight with anticipation. "Old Vixen, you say? Sounds like our ticket to uncovering more about this missing princess," he mused. Brizmouth nodded in agreement. "Indeed. Let us seek out old Vixen and see what she knows," he suggested, his voice tinged with excitement. With renewed purpose, Sharptooth and his companions left the warmth of the tavern and ventured back into the lively courtyard of Thindral. The sun had risen higher now, bathing the scene in golden light and infusing the air with a sense of possibility. They followed the directions given by the barmaid, winding their way through the bustling streets until they reached a modest building tucked away in a secluded corner. A simple sign above the door bore the image of a cunning fox, marking their destination. Taking a deep breath, Sharptooth pushed open the door and stepped inside. The interior was dimly lit, the air heavy with the scent of incense and intrigue. Seated at a corner table, a figure cloaked in shadows watched their approach with keen interest. "Welcome, travelers," came a husky voice from the shadows. "What brings you to my humble establishment?" Sharptooth exchanged a glance with his companions, a spark of determination in his eyes. "We seek information about the Rogues Guild and the missing princess," he replied, his voice steady. The figure nodded knowingly, a sly smile playing at the corners of her lips. "You've come to the right place," she said cryptically. "But first, let us talk." Chapter 4. Sharptooth's Decision. Inside the dimly lit establishment of Old Vixen's, Sharptooth and the cloaked figure engaged in a conversation that would determine the course of his next steps. The air was thick with intrigue, the scent of incense lingering as they spoke. "So, you seek to join the Rogues Guild," Old Vixen mused, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of amusement and curiosity. "You've chosen quite the path, young one." Sharptooth nodded, his gaze steady. "I'm prepared for the challenges ahead," he replied, his voice carrying a quiet resolve. Old Vixen chuckled softly. "Very well then," she said, reaching into the folds of her cloak and producing a small emblem, a stylized dagger engraved with intricate designs. "Wear this as a token of your allegiance." Taking the emblem with reverence, Sharptooth fastened it to his cloak, the weight of the guild's expectations settling upon him like a mantle. "Thank you," he said, his gratitude evident. With a knowing smile, Old Vixen gestured towards the door. "Your companions await you," she said cryptically. "May your skills serve you well." Stepping back out into the bustling streets of Thindral, Sharptooth rejoined his companions, who had been exploring the town in search of local quests and opportunities. Their faces lit up with curiosity as they caught sight of him. "Well, what news?" Falcon asked eagerly, his eyes bright with anticipation. Sharptooth's expression was a mix of determination and resolve. "I've joined the Rogues Guild," he announced, his voice steady. "But we must part ways for now. I have a task to fulfill." Windwing nodded understandingly, her support unwavering. "Go forth, Sharptooth," she said, her voice carrying a note of encouragement. "We will continue our own investigations and meet you again soon." Brizmouth clasped Sharptooth's shoulder, a silent gesture of solidarity. "Stay safe, my friend," he said earnestly. With a final nod of farewell, Sharptooth made his way towards the outskirts of Thindral, the weight of his new allegiance settling upon him. As he disappeared from view, his companions turned their attention back to the bustling town around them, their thoughts already turning towards the upcoming jousting games, the ultimate test for the king's prize. In the distance, banners fluttered atop grandstands, heralding the imminent arrival of the night's games. The promise of glory and rewards beckoned, and without hesitation, Sharptooth's companions set forth towards the jousting grounds, eager to prove their mettle and perhaps uncover more about the missing princess in the process. But little did they know that the night's games held secrets of their own, and the challenges that lay ahead would test not only their skills but also their resolve. As the sun reached its zenith, casting a golden glow over Thindral, the stage was set for a spectacle of bravery and cunning, a spectacle that would shape the destiny of all who dared to compete. Excitement buzzed through the air as Sharptooth's companions made their way towards the grand jousting grounds of Thindral. The sun shone brightly overhead, casting a warm glow over the gathered spectators and contestants alike. Banners fluttered in the breeze, displaying the heraldry of noble houses and guilds, adding a colorful backdrop to the festive atmosphere. As they approached the bustling scene, Falcon's keen eyes scanned the surroundings, taking in the sights and sounds of the tournament grounds. "Look at the turnout," he remarked, a hint of awe in his voice. "Seems the whole town has gathered for this event." Brizmouth nodded in agreement, his gaze drawn towards the knights in shining armor preparing for the contests ahead. "It's more than just a jousting tournament," he observed. "This is a test of skill and valor, with the king's prize at stake." Windwing's eyes sparkled with anticipation as she watched the knights parade into the arena, their steeds prancing proudly beneath them. "Let's find out more about this king's prize," she suggested, her voice filled with determination. Following the flow of the crowd, they made their way towards a bustling area near the royal pavilion. Stalls offering food, drink, and trinkets lined the path, and the scent of roasting meat and freshly baked pastries mingled with the sound of cheerful conversation. Nearby, a herald stood atop a wooden platform, announcing the rules and schedule of the day's events. "Welcome, noble spectators and esteemed contestants," the herald proclaimed, his voice carrying across the grounds. "Prepare yourselves for a day of thrilling competitions, culminating in the grand joust for the king's favor." Intrigued, Sharptooth's companions approached a group of locals gathered near a notice board adorned with colorful posters. "What can you tell us about the king's prize?" Brizmouth inquired, his tone polite yet eager. A kindly woman with gray-streaked hair smiled warmly at them. "Ah, the king's prize is a prestigious honor bestowed upon the victor of the grand joust," she explained. "It includes a generous purse of gold and the opportunity to serve as a champion in the king's court." Falcon's eyes gleamed with excitement. "A champion of the king," he repeated, a note of determination in his voice. "That's no small title." As the day progressed, Sharptooth's companions immersed themselves in the spectacle of the night's games. They cheered on the contestants, marveling at displays of equestrian skill and prowess. Each contest brought them closer to understanding the spirit of Thindral and the values it held dear. But amidst the revelry and competition, a shadow loomed over their thoughts: the mystery of the missing princess and the role they were destined to play in her fate. With determination burning in their hearts, they resolved to uncover the truth and prove themselves worthy of the challenges that lay ahead. As the sun began to set on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the tournament grounds, Sharptooth's companions felt a sense of purpose and unity. Amidst the cheers and excitement of the night's games, Sharptooth's companions decided to take part in the contests themselves. Falcon entered the archery competition, displaying his remarkable accuracy with each shot. Windwing volunteered for the foot combat challenge, her martial skills proving formidable against seasoned opponents. But it was Brizmouth who truly shone on the tournament grounds. Clad in borrowed armor, the towering knight entered the jousting competition, his steed a majestic sight as they thundered down the lists. Match after match, Brizmouth's lance found its mark, unseating his opponents with precision and skill. The crowd roared with enthusiasm as Brizmouth emerged victorious, his triumph solidifying their reputation among the knights and nobles of Thindral. He accepted the laurel wreath and the king's prize with humility, his eyes glinting with pride as he joined Sharptooth and the others in celebration. As night fell over Thindral, the companions gathered in a quiet corner of the tavern, their spirits high with the day's success. Amidst lurk within the shadows. Sharptooth nodded, his jaw set with determination. "I will find what we seek," he promised, his voice resolute. With the first light of dawn, Sharptooth set out alone towards the rugged coastline, the crash of waves echoing in the distance. The shipwreck loomed before him, its timbers weathered by time and the elements. Boarding the vessel, he searched every nook and cranny, his keen eyes scouring for any sign of the missing princess. Amidst the debris, Sharptooth's hand brushed against a weathered chest tucked away in a hidden compartment. Opening it cautiously, he discovered more than he had bargained for: a treasure map, its intricate markings hinting at untold riches hidden within Thindral's borders. Concealing the map within his cloak, Sharptooth resolved to keep it safe until his return. With the weight of newfound secrets upon his shoulders, he made his way back to Thindral, the crash of waves and the cry of gulls guiding his path. Reuniting with his companions, Sharptooth shared the discoveries of his expedition. I found clues aboard the ship, he explained cryptically, his gaze lingering on the treasure map hidden beneath his cloak. But there is more to uncover. Windwing and the others exchanged knowing glances, their resolve strengthened by the promise of adventure and the lingering mystery of the missing princess. Together, they vowed to follow the trail of clues and unlock the secrets that awaited them on the horizon. The discovery of the treasure map added a new layer of intrigue to Sharptooth's quest for the missing princess. As he reunited with Windwing, Falcon, and Brizmouth in the heart of Thindral, he shared the news of his findings, their curiosity piqued by the mention of hidden riches. We must tread carefully with this map, Windwing cautioned, her eyes flickering with a mixture of excitement and caution. Our priority remains finding clues about the princess. Sharptooth nodded in agreement, the weight of the map pressing against his side beneath his cloak. Indeed, but the map could hold valuable information for our future endeavors, he replied, his voice low. Brizmouth stroked his beard thoughtfully, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon. Perhaps we can use the map to our advantage once we've unraveled the mystery of the princess, he suggested, his words resonating with wisdom. With their priorities set, the companions delved deeper into Thindral's secrets, seeking out whispers and rumors that might lead them closer to the truth. It wasn't long before they encountered a local informant willing to share information in exchange for a modest sum of gold. This town holds many secrets, my friends, the informant murmured, his eyes darting furtively. The missing princess is but one thread in a tangled web of intrigue. Listening intently, Falcon leaned forward. Tell us more, he urged, his tone eager. The informant lowered his voice, leaning in closer. There have been sightings of shadowy figures lurking in the abandoned mines to the east, he revealed. Some say they hold the key to the princess's disappearance. Windwing exchanged a knowing glance with Sharptooth, her expression resolute. Then to the mines we shall go, she declared, her voice firm. Under the cover of nightfall, Sharptooth and his companions set out towards the eastern mines, guided by the informant's directions. The path was rugged and treacherous, winding through dense forests and rocky terrain. As they approached the entrance to the abandoned mines, a chill settled over the companions, their senses on high alert. The air was thick with an eerie silence broken only by the distant hoot of an owl. Entering the depths of the mines, they navigated through dark tunnels illuminated only by flickering torchlight. Shadows danced on the walls, casting ominous shapes that seemed to whisper of ancient secrets. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the tunnels, followed by the sound of footsteps approaching. Sharptooth's hand instinctively went to his dagger, his companions readying their weapons. From the darkness emerged a hooded figure, their features obscured by the shadows. Who dares trespass in these cursed mines? The figure demanded, their voice echoing with a haunting resonance. Windwing stepped forward, her stance unwavering. We seek answers about the missing princess, she declared boldly. Tell us what you know. The hooded figure regarded them with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. Follow me, they said cryptically, disappearing back into the shadows. With a shared glance, Sharptooth and his companions exchanged a silent understanding. They had ventured into the heart of darkness, and the secrets of Thindral awaited them in the depths of the abandoned mines. Final chapter. The truth revealed. The damp air clung to Sharptooth and his companions as they followed the mysterious hooded figure deeper into the labyrinthine tunnels of the abandoned mines. Torchlight flickered off the rough-hewn walls, casting dancing shadows that seemed to whisper of forgotten secrets. Their guide led them to a secluded chamber bathed in an eerie blue glow emanating from veins of mysterious metal embedded in the rock. As they approached, the hooded figure turned to face them, revealing a young woman with eyes that gleamed with intelligence and determination. Princess Elara of Thindral. Princess Elara, Windwing exclaimed, her surprise evident. Elara nodded solemnly. Yes, it is I, she confirmed, her voice tinged with urgency. I have been hiding here, conducting research on this mysterious metal. Sharptooth stepped forward, his gaze steady. What is this metal, and why are you researching it in secret? He inquired, his curiosity piqued. Elara's expression darkened. This metal is unlike any other, a gift from the mountain itself, she explained. It possesses properties that could revolutionize warfare, but I fear my father, the king, has fallen under the sway of dark magic. Falcon frowned, his brow furrowed with concern. Dark magic, he echoed, exchanging a glance with his companions. Elara nodded gravely. Yes, a blood elf sorceress has bewitched my father, she revealed. He plans to use this metal to forge indestructible armor for his armies and break the peace treaty with our neighboring land. Brizmouth's eyes widened in realization. So, you've been mining this metal to prevent its misuse, he surmised, his voice tinged with admiration. Elara nodded, her resolve unwavering. I couldn't allow my father's madness to plunge Thindral into war, she confessed, her voice filled with determination. Windwing placed a reassuring hand on Elara's shoulder. You've done well to keep this secret, but now we are here to help, she assured her, her voice warm with empathy. Sharptooth's mind raced with possibilities. How can we be of service, Princess Elara? He inquired, his tone respectful. Elara's eyes gleamed with hope. We must stop my father before it's too late, she declared, her voice firm. But first, we must confront the blood elf sorceress who holds him captive. Falcon glanced around the chamber, his mind calculating their next moves. Where can we find this sorceress? He asked, his voice steady. Elara's gaze turned towards the enchanted forest beyond Thindral, where secrets and dangers lurked in equal measure. She dwells deep within the forest, in a place where massive webs of spiders weave, she revealed, her tone grave. With a shared nod of determination, Sharptooth and his companions pledged to aid Princess Elara in her quest to save Thindral from her father's misguided ambitions. As they prepared to venture into the enchanted forest, the weight of their mission settled upon them, a mission that would test their courage and loyalty to the kingdom they held dear. The journey ahead was fraught with peril, but with Princess Elara at their side, they knew they carried hope in their hearts. Together, they would confront the shadows of the past and uncover the truth hidden within the enchanted forest. The moon hung low in the night sky as Sharptooth and his companions stood at the edge of the enchanted forest, its looming shadows beckoning with an eerie allure. Princess Elara led the way, her determination a beacon of hope amidst the darkness that surrounded them. We must tread carefully, Elara cautioned, her voice hushed. The forest is home to many dangers, both seen and unseen. Windwing nodded, her expression resolute. We'll stay close and watch each other's backs, she assured, her hand resting on her mace. With cautious steps, they ventured deeper into the dense undergrowth, the air thick with the scent of earth and magic. Twisted branches entwined overhead, casting intricate patterns of moonlight and shadow upon the forest floor. As they pressed on, the forest seemed to come alive with whispers, a chorus of unseen voices that stirred the leaves and rustled the underbrush. Sharptooth's senses were on high alert, every rustle and creak setting his nerves on edge. Suddenly, a strange mist began to curl around their feet, swirling with an unnatural energy. The forest seemed to shift and warp, disorienting their senses. Leafshade raised a hand, his voice calm yet firm. Stay together, he urged, his druidic magic resonating with the ancient spirits of the forest. Through the mist, shapes began to emerge, monstrous spiders with eyes that glinted like black diamonds. They descended from the canopy above, their silken webs shimmering in the moonlight. Windwing raised her shield, her voice ringing out with resolve. Prepare yourselves, she called, her eyes locked on the approaching arachnids. A fierce battle ensued, the companions wielding their weapons with precision and skill. Falcon's arrows found their mark, Leafshade's magic weaving protective barriers, and Sharptooth's daggers striking true. Princess Elara fought alongside them, her determination unyielding despite the overwhelming odds. As the last of the spiders retreated into the shadows, a sense of accomplishment washed over the group. They caught their breath, their hearts pounding with adrenaline. We must press on, Elara urged, her eyes glinting with determination. The sorceress awaits deeper within. With renewed resolve, Sharptooth and his companions pushed forward, navigating through the tangled labyrinth of the enchanted forest. The air grew thicker with magic, and the shadows seemed to whisper secrets of ancient times. Finally, they reached a clearing bathed in an otherworldly glow, a place where the moon's light filtered through the canopy, illuminating a figure cloaked in darkness. It was the blood elf sorceress, her eyes ablaze with malevolent power. So, you've come seeking the truth, the sorceress intoned, her voice echoing with an unnatural resonance. But you shall find only darkness and despair. Princess Elara stepped forward, her resolve unwavering. Release my father from your grip, she demanded, her voice filled with determination. The sorceress chuckled darkly, her presence imposing. "Your father serves a greater purpose now," she replied cryptically. "But you, dear princess, shall meet your fate." With a wave of her hand, the sorceress summoned dark magic, casting it towards the companions with malevolent intent. As the blood elf sorceress unleashed her dark magic upon Sharptooth and his companions, the air crackled with malevolent energy. In a swift and decisive move, Sharptooth raised his mage's dagger, the ancient relic pulsing with a newfound power, and absorbed the oncoming barrage of black magic. The dagger glowed with a radiant red light, emitting fiery sparks and bolts that danced around him like protective shields. With each strike of the sorceress's magic, Sharptooth's dagger absorbed the corrupt energy, transforming it into bursts of elemental fire that repelled the darkness. His companions rallied around him, their weapons and spells adding to the chaotic symphony of battle. Princess Elara, her eyes blazing with determination, channeled her own magic. She waved her wand with practiced precision, calling forth the earth's power. From the depths of the enchanted forest, a colossal rock giant emerged, a guardian of nature's might. The rock giant stomped forward, its massive form dwarfing the sorceress. With a thunderous roar, it raised its stone fists and brought them crashing down upon the blood elf sorceress, shattering the darkness that had ensnared the king and bringing an end to her malevolent influence. As the sorceress lay defeated beneath the colossal weight of the rock giant, the tainted magic that had clouded the king's mind dissipated like morning mist. King Thorian blinked in confusion, his eyes clearing as if from a deep slumber. Princess Elara rushed to her father's side, her relief palpable. "Father, it's me, Elara," she said softly, her voice filled with emotion. The king's gaze softened as he beheld his daughter. "Elara, what has happened?" he murmured, his voice tinged with bewilderment. With tears in her eyes, Princess Elara recounted the events that had transpired, the sorceress's dark influence, her own efforts to protect Thindral, and the bravery of Sharptooth and his companions in uncovering the truth. King Thorian listened intently, his expression shifting from confusion to realization. "I was blind to the sorceress's treachery," he admitted, his voice heavy with regret. "But now, thanks to you all, I see clearly once more." Together, they returned to the castle of Thindral, where colorful banners fluttered in the breeze and the townspeople rejoiced at their king's return. The once somber halls now echoed with laughter and music, a testament to the renewed hope that filled the kingdom. In the grand hall, Princess Elara stood by her father's side, her hand resting on Sharptooth's shoulder. "Thanks to Sharptooth and his companions, we have saved Thindral from darkness," she announced proudly, her voice ringing with gratitude. King Thorian regarded Sharptooth with newfound respect. "You have my deepest gratitude, Sharptooth," he said warmly, his eyes reflecting admiration. "Thindral owes you a great debt." Sharptooth nodded humbly, his gaze meeting Princess Elara's with a silent understanding. Together, they had faced adversity and emerged victorious, a testament to the strength of their bond and the resilience of their spirit. As the celebrations continued late into the night, Sharptooth and his companions reflected on their journey, the battles fought, the secrets uncovered, and the bonds forged in the crucible of adventure. With Princess Elara and King Thorian at their side, they knew that Thindral's future was brighter than ever before, united in the promise of a kingdom restored and a legacy of heroism. To be continued.